SCFGLive.
Last time on SCFGLive, T got offered a fun engineering study abroad program.
I thought you might enjoy a bit of travel. What? To where?
T taught our young scientists about a key engineer who helped make our world a bit safer, even to this day.
There was an inventor by the name of Garrett Augustus Morgan. He patented the 3-color stoplight. Prior to him doing this, there were only 2 colors.
And made her way to the airport. Let's check in with T to see how her traveling tripaganza is going.
Well, young scientists, I made it to the airport. Airports are where planes take off, land, and stay when they aren't going anywhere. This trip is going to be so awesome, but where am I going again? Oh, geez. I think I need to call Dr. Sally. Good thing I have my phone.
Look who it is! The science student I sent on an educational holiday!
You sure did send me on one of those. By the way, where am I going?
T, the app! The SCU travel app! Remember?
Oh yeah, you sent me my ticket through there.
Yes, and your first stop is China! You'll be seeing the Great Wall and learning about civil engineering that it took to build into the massive wonder it is today.
Civil engineering? What's that?
You know, T, I think we'll save that lesson for when you get to China. Wink.
What? Why did you say wink? You could just wink, you know.
I don't know if you know this, but winking for me can prove difficult.
Why?
There are limiting factors on why. Anyway, do you know what you need to get to China? Aerospace engineering!
Oh, what a great idea! Isn't aerospace engineering that cool concept you taught us about in class?
Yes! Do you remember what that is?
Of course I do, Dr. Sally. Aerospace engineering is the designing, building, and testing and controlling of flying machines. There are 2 main areas of aerospace engineering. Aeronautical, which is primarily about flying in the Earth's atmosphere, and astronautical, which is the focus of machines that fly in space. The best way to remember the difference between the 2 is to know the prefixes aero and astro. Aero means air, and astro means anything related to stars in space. A prefix is a part of a word that's at the beginning. So remember, aero means what, young scientists? Exactly. And astro means what? Exactly. So just remember those 2 prefixes and you'll know what aero and astro engineering are.
You really know your stuff.
Well, I had a great teacher. You really inspired me to look more into these fascinating terms.
Thank you, T. That's so kind of you. Well, since you clearly know so much about aerospace, check out the airport to see what cool aerospace things are going on.
Will do, Doctor. See you soon.
See you.
All right, let's go check it out. Well, I wonder what I can find here. Or who? Sarah?
Oh, hey, T.
Sarah? What are you doing here? Hey!
Well, I know you're doing the show by yourself, but I was thinking, what if you don't have to?
What do you mean?
Well, I am Dr. Sally's teaching assistant, and she won't be able to go on this trip with you. So I was thinking, what if I came with, and I could help you out with stuff and provide some science expertise on your journey?
What a brilliant idea, Sarah! I had no idea you were a teacher's assistant, or as we students call you, a TA. Yeah.
Well, anytime you need a friend for a thing, make sure to give me a ring.
I definitely will do. Well, since you're here, what can you tell us about aerospace engineering?
Oh, well, what do you want to know?
I want to know how planes fly.
Good question for where we are, and I actually have the perfect experiment for this. Let's try it out.
All right, Sarah, what are we gonna do today?
Well, today we're going to be designing our own paper planes. This is planning and designing in action. action. We're going to be putting these things together because it's a big part of being an engineer and thinking about planes, being an aerospace engineer. Planes can fall into the category of aerospace or aeronautics. It sort of depends on how you sort of define it, but that's the kind of engineering we're doing today.
That's right. In class, Dr. Sally taught us that aerospace engineers develop technologies that could be used for flight.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, let's jump into becoming aerospace engineers.
Yeah, let's give them our materials list.
Okay, so for today's materials list, we're gonna be making paper airplanes. So we do have these paper airplane printouts, but if you follow along today, you can also just do what we do. So we're going to use scissors, and remember, always ask a trusted adult if you need help. We have paper for our paper airplanes, tape, and a ruler. All right.
Amazing. This is a perfect list of materials. All you need, you can find it around your house. So let's jump into making our planes.
Yay.
So we've got our materials, and we're gonna start with a first basic paper airplane design. So we're each gonna take a sheet of paper, again, just basic printer paper. And we're gonna be making a lot of folds here today. So get ready to do some folding and creasing. We'll talk about easy ways to do that. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this piece of paper in half lengthwise. So we always want to try to line up the corners and then hold it and then crease. What do you think, T? Do you like to crease with a nail or you crease with a fingertip?
I'm a finger girl.
Yeah, the nail, I feel like sometimes it's too much. It's too much. We are going to next fold down the corners so that they line up with our center. And they should match up pretty close. So our next step, once we've got our nice little shapes with our corners in the front, we are going to then do that sort of same fold one more time, where we fold all the way into the center line again. So our next step is going to be to fold along that center line that we made, but we're going to be folding the opposite direction now. Got sort of this shape, and our final step is to fold down a wing edge here. The important thing is just do the same fold
Twice.
Yeah, on either side, so it sort of matches. All right, so now I've kind of got my design. But as you can see, we are sort of catching a lot of air in the middle there. And while we do want air to be caught under the wings, that's something we call lift, we don't really want it to get caught in the middle because that will drag our airplane. All right, so we've got our sort of first paper plane design. So that's a pretty basic paper plane fold and is one way to do it, but there are lots of ways to take a piece of paper and make it more aerodynamic, more able to move through the air. So let's take fresh sheets of paper and we're going to make a second airplane design. But keep your first design because we want to know how they compare to each other. So we'll set those aside and we'll each take our new sheet of paper. Trying to line up those edges nice and even.
Yay.
And then we unfold it. And now we're going to, just like before, fold our corners down along that center line. And now we're going to do that yet a third time. A third fold rather, a second fold down into the middle. So you sort of take your whole edge there, this line, you're sort of the top of our triangle, or the edge of our triangle, we want to line up, okay? And fold the other side to match, looking as before. We are going to make that nice. We're gonna take our folded down guys and we're gonna fold it away from it, so, making it nice and loose. I think they call this the wing edge. You wanna make sure you've got a nice free wing edge. And now, this one we're gonna fold pretty sharp. So we wanna fold this one again so that the edge is like so pointy. You should have a pretty pointy design here that's got this sort of flat edge curves here. And we're gonna try a different method for holding our plane together. Just like we were saying earlier, we want to maximize lift. That's how the air is sort of helping to lift our plane, and minimize drag by keeping our plane as sharpened together as possible. We used tape before. We can still use tape to help stabilize this one, but there's also some cool things you can do to hold the bottom together. This is where our first use of our scissors is going to come in. So we're going to take our pair of scissors, and holding our paper airplane where all of the pieces of paper overlap, so starting at a little section where we can see that, here we can see it's just one, and then we see a different layer, and then here's all my layers together right there. I'm going to make 2 small cuts in all the layers of paper. Now those cuts are only going to be just maybe a centimeter long, so just a little snip, and then a second snip. So we've made a sort of cut, 2 separate cuts in the, we'll go all the way up to here. See, all of those pieces of paper over together. Now we've made this little sort of notch, and our plane is much more stable. As we can see, there's still a little bit of gapping up at the front. So I might want to still put a piece of tape on the back, but I think to keep my test sort of pure, to really compare the two, I'm not going to use any tape for this one. I'm just going to see how it does with that little notch that we cut out of the side. Paper airplane number 3. You'll never guess how we're going to start.
Folding?
Yeah. So we're going to fold our piece of paper lengthwise. There are other designs of paper airplanes, but I think it's fun to sort of just make this one a little bit more complicated. Sorry, first, get all my designs out of the way. So, but from here, it's gonna be pretty different. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to fold over a sheet, our sort of like center line here. We're gonna make a line about, let's see, I think we're gonna wanna go until you've got, let's say about an inch on the bottom here. So sort of wherever that bottom edge, you want it to sort of be square around there. And then we're gonna fold, it's not gonna line up with the center. We're gonna make it line up with the center, but the way it should line up with the center is up at the top. So you're gonna sort of make, wherever you have your little square, make one crease there.
All right.
And then up at the top, you're going to make sure this corner can sort of touch, drag it over, make another crease, and then we're gonna sort of connect those two, sort of see how they come together.
Oh, okay.
Just sort of folding over. And it'll make sense, hopefully, because we're gonna also fold it away in the middle there. I think I didn't quite make the center.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you can take that little flap and just sort of fold it back so that you can see the middle of your line. So down along that center line, like this. And now we have a little corner folded back.
Okay. All right. Nice.
We're gonna do that both sides. So move on to my other side. I'm gonna do it sort of again, similar fashion. You wanna look down at the bottom, try to make it about the same.
Similar fashion. Correct.
Connect. Okay. And then I'll fold back. Okay, it should be, symmetrical-ish. Make my two little sides here.
Should is the
In a world where we're really all perfect at folding and we know exactly where the edge is going to be even when we can't see it. But practice makes perfect. So we've got our sort of folds in place, and now we're gonna do that again. We're gonna fold this one to make another sharp line here. We're gonna sort of fold to the center, this whole wing. And there is gonna be a little triangle paper cutting sticking out. We're gonna end up cutting that off. So the cuts that we're going to be making, we are going to be cutting little divots here. So we're going to cut into the center from this line, maybe that far down. We're going to make one more cut, or one more set of cuts, that is going to make this sort of into a heart shape. These are changes that we're making to the body of the plane. So when we make that cut to the back, and we fold it, we're seeing that we're getting a different shape here, where there's this sort of inset in our design. And that is going to give our plane a really different flight. It's going to make it move differently. And for this one, because there's so many little folds of paper, you really want to try to hold it together as best you can. And so I'm going to try a third strategy for this one, where I'm going to be taping, I'm going to be putting a line of tape along my center line on the bottom. Now, we should have now 3 paper airplanes. So maybe let's set out our 3 planes. There's my third design. That's my first design, and that's my second design. So we have a lot in common. Got some similarities in shape, similarities in wings, but let's see if there's any difference in how they fly. Now, one last thing that we can do, but I think this is a good tip for pretty much any paper airplane, we want the wings to be kind of tilted up. They're sort of, we want to maximize that sort of lift. And so with pretty much every paper airplane, I think it's a good idea to kind of crease up the corners a little bit. You can also, I'll try a different one with this one. You can also fold it in this way. You can even try folding down if you want. Maybe you want to have a downward fold. I think that's suggested on some of these. But you can get these little sort of stabilizing or side pieces. You can see what different wing designs work, but feel free to iterate. And now I think it's time to put it to the test, which
Oh yeah.
I feel like, I mean, we could see whose paper airplane went the highest, but that might be harder to measure.
Let's see whose paper airplane flies the longest.
Oh, that's a great idea, because then we can just use a clock.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so should we start with our first designs?
Of course.
Okay, so we're gonna, let's just throw them sort of down the terminal. They won't
Sure.
care.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna look at my watch. 3, 2, 1. Wow.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I think yours hit the ground.
Yeah.
All right, mine was
All right.
going a little bit longer.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was about 5 seconds.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
let's try number 2.
All right, this is the one with the notch in the bottom.
Okay. Let's toss these the same way. 1, 2, 3.
Oops. Yours definitely went for longer.
Wow. Okay. 6 seconds. That's a lot longer than the last one.
An improvement.
Yes.
Amazing.
For sure.
Okay, and last but not least, our most complex design
Oh, geez.
with the cuts that we made, tops and bottom.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right.
Oh,
It's gone. We're
good.
Wow.
We're good.
It's gone.
guess they're gone now.
Well, it's the airport's planes now.
Yeah, it belongs to them. So we just designed and sort of improved on our paper planes. And I think if we were to go back and try to build all of these designs again, I bet both of us would be more prepared. We know what we're gonna do.
For sure.
We've got our plan, we've practiced it now. And also, we could make even more changes. Now we've got more. We could write down all the flight time. We could do all this stuff and learn a lot, but I do think we maybe need to go back to our gate.
Yeah, we got a plane to catch. Well, thanks for helping me get that experiment done.
No problem, T. Are you ready to climb the Great Wall?
Am I ever?
Well, this is gonna be a really long flight, so I hope you have some entertainment.
Oh, I do. I can't wait to listen to all my favorite songs and watch a few movies. It's gonna be so fun.
Well, that sounds great for you. I'm gonna take a very, very, very long nap because it gets exhausting to help Dr. Sally with all of her classes.
Yeah, now that I think of it, she does teach almost every course at SCU. Weird.
Now boarding flights to Beijing.
Oh, that's our cue. See you there, T.
Bye! Well, young scientists, it's time to start a new chapter. Stay curious and fly high.